In the boat race, one voice is heard above all others, the cox. Small, compact, often highly eccentric, the cox is said to have one of the most complex roles in sport. But what does a cox actually do? And how do they influence both the psychology and performance of their crew?
I don't think it is a clear role that people understand. I think probably some people think of dragon boat racing and the guy at the end of the boat banging a drum going left, right, left, right.
The mark of a good cox is being able to play different roles for different people. Some might need some tough love, some might need a mother, some might need a bit of gentle encouragement, and it's working out what each individual needs.
Do rowers hate coxes?
Yeah, it's endemic. There's a kind of thing that they're the cox and you're the rower. They don't do the work, you do all the work. They kind of sit there, they get the medal for winning, they get the glory as much as you do. And throwing the cox in the end is partly, well listen, you haven't done any of the work, and so we're going to throw you in. So it's a very, interesting relationship.
Those 8 guys in the boat, they have to put their sole trust in you. And I love that feeling of responsibility.
I started at school and I had a friend who was a few years older than me who was a rower herself. She knew that I was fairly mouthy and quite bossy, so she thought those characteristics would potentially be useful.
How you articulate your words, that's your weapon.
I'm usually one of the most foul-mouthed people in every boat I get into. I think you have to be fairly eccentric to want to spend your years cramped up in a tiny space, getting cold and shouting at people much bigger than you.
Being a cox in a way is sometimes like being like a goalkeeper. If he makes one mistake, it's very clear, very visible, and they get shot down for it.
When you've got a cox who is reliable, can steer absolutely straight, and has got the notion of relationship and emotion, you have got a phenomenal package.
You can have a brilliant cox, but if they don't get on with the crew, it's never going to work.
The cox has to develop a complex balance to actually win the crew's trust. Too assertive and too aggressive, and the crew may not trust them because they'll think the cox has got too much self-interest, they've got too big an ego.
If any cox thinks that they have too big a role to play, that can potentially be dangerous.
The cox exists in a world of many deep ironies. They don't have to physically exert themselves, but they do have to make many of the key judgments under pressure on the big day. Part coach, part psychologist, part confidant, the cox will always play a defining role in the boat race.